recognized earlier. Please accept my highest consideration of respect and warm salutation. My brother Chigamoy and I have always teamed up when there was something important to work on together. But in the course of this last year, what we have teamed up to do is fundamental. It is huge. It is deep. It is painful. This society where we are, this central dual society, now called Acholi land, is a society which has experienced radical, comprehensive societal collapse. It may not be obvious to the visitor's eye. It may not be evident to the casual person passing by, but deep inside, this society has collapsed. It started perhaps with the Amin era and the atrocities and the destruction. It continued with 20 years of war and atrocities on both sides, and the removal wholesale of the livestock, a pillar of the economy. And of course, most critical of all, the internment, the wholesale internment of the society in camps for over 20 years in conditions that we know well. The aspects of this collapse, in Luo we call it Tobajo, the aspects which are obvious to the visitor are the material aspects: education, land, drunkenness, the disputes within the family, the collapse of education, poverty, public health. But the heart of this collapse is not there. The heart of the collapse I'm talking about is invisible. It is intangible. It is metaphysical. It is to do with the identity and confidence of the people, to do with their spirit, to do with their moral values, to do with their heritage and civilization. The intangible in the heart of the crisis we are talking about. And so, when my brother Chigamoy and I began discussing, and with others, we decided to convoke a pan-Acholi gathering. We called it Gure Me Pongdwongo, meaning the convocation of Pongdwongo, where we invited all the leaders to look at this huge, massive elephant in the room, to say, what is it that we might be able to do to salvage this society from sinking into history? And at Pongdwongo, we made some crucial decisions. Let me put it this way. The musical genius, Bob Marley of Jamaica, he sang by the rivers of Babylon, inspired by Psalm 137. And Bob Marley said this: by the rivers of Babylon, where we sat, and yes, They wept because they remembered their prophets and their heroes. They remembered their holy scriptures and their temple. They remembered their moral values. They remembered their identity and civilization. That is why they wept by the rivers of Babylon. But they also remembered Zion, because without remembering Zion, they would never have survived. They survived by remembering Zion. And Bob Marley continues to say, but how can we sing the Lord's songs in a strange land? How can we sing the Lord's song in a land of debauchery, in a land of rampant alcoholism, in a land in which cheating is commonplace, in a land in which our moral values have collapsed, in a land in which we no longer know our heritage? That is the strange land that Bob Marley spoke about. How can we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? Which means by remembering Zion, we must get to the land, a land of revival, a land where our education are resuscitated, a land where our people have moral values again, a land of solidarity, a land of reconciliation, a land in which we do not have false witnesses in land disputes. In that land, we can then sing the Lord's song. In that land, we can then say to the Punsaverio, bring the Otole dancers from Maduperi. We can say to my brother George, Chayao, Nan, and Punfilter, bring the Apiti dancers from Court. We can say to my brother Chigamoy, bring the Buona dancers from Patongo. Now we can sing the Lord's song in this land. That is the reason why we set about the enterprise of Doro Pacho, of Roco Pacho, and Gure Me Pongdwongo. So we said the first order of business, listen to me carefully, we must transform our conduct. We must transform our behavior. We must change our attitudes, the intangible. We must revive that which makes us come together in solidarity. We must look at each other in the hands of, with the eyes of love and working together. And we say, in the land that produced a court bitek, Archbishop Jana Niluom, Professor Odonga, Agago, Jofioriema, that land has now become educationally